your father, when I was reading PSP, I had never heard of it before
No
until I
one
read
has.
about it. Yes.
I was on the board of Cure PSP for 10 years and I was their spokesperson. I still am if they ever need me. They just don't spend their money on doing like big parties or commercials or anything. They spend their money on research and outreach to we now have groups all over the country so that patients and their caregivers, more importantly, caregivers can go and be with other people who are dealing with this because it is so hard. And so, these groups have just grown and mushroomed all over the country. And then they have, symposiums a couple of times a year that people can come to find out the latest. The science has really improved. There's still not a cure, but there are things that are hopeful. They say there's like 20 to 30,000 cases in this country. I don't know about worldwide, but in America, we know it's more than that. Because what happens is once they do get a drug for a disease like this, it's all of a sudden you find out there's so many more people because they're going and they're finding it works and it's not Parkinson's and it's not this and it's that. And so there's probably a lot more people getting it. And my dad had it probably for 7 years and we didn't know until the last 2 or 3.
Wow.
It was diagnosed by the neurologist as Parkinson's. And so they gave him Parkinson's meds and then they didn't work. And then in the nursing home where my dad was, there was just this little, elderly people's doctor. And we were in Virginia Beach because my parents retired where there was Navy. And he was the one who came forward and said, I have 2 other military people here in Virginia Beach with PSP. And I think that's what this is. And we're like, what's that? He said, it's not good.
Oh, wow.
There's
Wow.
no drug. There's no
amazing.
cure. It's a death
Now,
sentence.
is there any inheritance link?
I was going to
there any
say, is it
gene that
genetic,
passed?
something
Like, could a
that,
gene
Well,
pass?
that's what we've done. They've done a lot of studying about it. And there was one family in Italy that has 17 or 18 people that got it, but that's very unusual. It
wow.
usually doesn't go down through the family. Like, in other words, I'm not going to get it because he did necessarily. I may have the gene. I don't know. I don't know. I was really happy I did 23andMe and I found out I didn't have a Parkinson's gene and I didn't have an Alzheimer's gene.
I had one Alzheimer's. Yeah.
You do? Well, the thing is that
Mhm.
when somebody has had a big disease like Dad had, the only thing that they've found is that you may be more likely in your family to have other kinds of brain diseases. Not that one necessarily, but it could be even schizophrenia or
probably
no, it could
no,
be,
yeah.
it could be many
Right,
different kinds.
right.
I don't know if that includes depression or but it means that you're maybe more vulnerable to other ones. So
But
always
it's
nervous about it.
amazing with genetic testing, just how things you can find
it
out.
really
So,
is.
Yeah, I
but
think I'm
yeah,
like 3/4 Neanderthal.
I didn't that when you find out that.
Yeah. And then my daughter did it, and she found out that she was 1% pygmy.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not even sure where pygmies are.
I
I
don't
was
know.
like, pygmy, and that obviously came from her father's side because it wasn't in
It
mine.
wasn't on yours. Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll be Neanderthal.
When you
goodness.
to shift back to West Wing, I read something that you did the recurring episodes, and then that was right around the time your dad got sick, but you were also kind of going through menopause, perimenopause at that time.
This is what I try to tell my daughters. Neither of them listen to me. My daughter-in-law had her first, she's just had her second baby and she's 37 and about to turn 38, I think. And the first baby was 3 years before that. So, she was like me. She had her first baby 33, 34. And then I had my second, the twins, when I was 39 and just about to become 40. And so what I learned was that's, of course, when your career is maybe peaking and you have children and you have parents who are dying. My parents both were sick. 10 years, my sisters and I were flying all over the country, back and forth, a million different operations and all the times that we needed to be there for them. So I'm dealing with the parents on the other coast that are in serious trouble. And then my own children here, and then this huge job and career really is also the career problem. And menopause all hit at the same time. And menopause, of course, makes you want to kill everyone, You know,
Yes.
it's like, oh, mood disorder. Aha.
Mhm.
Oh, whoa. You know,
Rage. Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
bad. And I think it makes it harder for you to not lose your temper when your kids are being typical, difficult kids. And it makes you prone to all kinds of things. Now, the good news was I started menopause and I started, like dreading when I was going to have hot flashes when I was on stage working and taping and all that. I never had them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, I think it had to do with around the time when I was starting to feel warm, but not really, really hot. I happened to take my daughter to this ADD specialist named Dr. Amen, who's really big in the ADHD thing. His whole 5 different definitions of ADHD are in the new DSM. And he did nuclear brain studies of people. To his theory, by the way, was not just that you could see ADHD or ADD, but that you could actually see mood disorder, like different, that you could tell from looking at the brain what other kinds of mood disorder may be going on. He thought you could diagnose that way. There's a lot of disagreement about that, but there's universally now that the brain studies are recognized. Roxy's was like, you know, ring of fire ADHD, like way off the map. I had a kind of ADD that is super organized already, you know, so I was like more organized before I started being treated than I am now. Because, you know, there's a kind
Hyper
that's
focus.
very focused,
Mhm.
Hyper
you know, on
focus.
one thing or another. And apparently I had that. But the thing about this brain study also was that, why did I even bring this up? I think it's because
Of
oh, yeah.
menopause.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So then I
Yeah.
was getting all menopausal, and he gave me this whole prescription basically of vitamins that I should take for my brain because I had a hole right here from when I got hit in the head real hard in college with a lighting thing. I was doing lighting, and a big lighting thing came and knocked me over and had kind of a little minor concussion, and had a whiplash really badly too when I was a kid. So he was seeing this stuff, you know, you could see this like blank space here. And he went, that could be a memory problem for you. So I want you to start taking. And here's what he gave me. A lot, everybody knows about CoQ10 now. I didn't know, but I hadn't heard of it then. But CoQ10, um, D, something called uh it's got a really long name. Gosh, I don't even take it anymore. So I can't remember the name of it. But there it was like ginkgo, which I don't take anymore either. E, which we're not supposed to take anymore, but I was. These other ones that are more unusual, which of course I can't think of the name of them, but I'll think of it before. I'll have like a senior moment and it'll float up to the
Come
top
back. Yes.
later.
Mhm.
I started taking those vitamins, and because I had migraines, a doctor put me on a drug called Topamax, which is supposed to cut down on your migraines. So I started that at the same time. All the hot stuff went away.
Wow.
I went into my gynecologist and I said, "Oh, PS100, I think that's what it's called." She said the PS100 I was taking was the only thing that was hormonally related. And she looked at the list because I had this kind of long list of things, and she said, "There's nothing in it that would affect your hormones, except maybe this PS100." But it continued to be the case. I never, in all of this, it seems like it just went on forever. I had sleep disorder, had, you know, mood disorder and all of that, but never any hot flashes. I was so lucky. And I couldn't take estrogen because I had had a minor cancer event way back in like 84. And I didn't want to risk taking any kind of estrogen. And
Mhm.
so, you know, I just got, I don't know if I was just lucky or what,
Whatever
I-
worked.
Whatever worked, because
but I
they're
still
bad.
say that
Yeah.
if women can possibly have their children earlier, so they're not hitting the death of their parents, their children, their career, and menopause all at the same time, it would be a lot smarter. Fortunately, because you have to build your career through your 20s, you know,
Mhm.
and my daughter-in-law is a super good colorist at Technicolor. I mean, she's like very much in demand, and was building her way up into being in this position over all these years. And you know,
Mhm.
it just works out that way sometimes.
Yeah,
But
it seems
she's
like,
amazing.
yeah.
She's able to like work and then be such a hands-on mother, so patient and much more disciplined than I was, you know, about what she ate, what she drinks, and what you know, that
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so hard. Yeah, and it's hard for, it seems like it was easier for us to be able, well, housing is so hard now. Like, people, it's so difficult for people to
Mhm.
afford to buy a home. It was
I'm
easier
helping my
for
kids
us.
and they make money,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're in
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. I mean, it's
It's impossible.
crazy. It's
It
And then
really
crazy.
my daughter
is.
here bought, she and her husband, they were getting married in a week
Hmm.
and a half. They just bought a place in Eagle Rock. And, he was able to help a lot because he inherited something. And then I helped a little. I helped some too.
Hmm. But
And,
just, yeah.
and so, but they wouldn't have been able to do it without
Hmm.
me
Yeah.
helping, and him just happened to have inherited a bunch.
I don't
It's
know how they
crazy.
do it. Same with my daughter, I have
Hmm.
one,
Where are
and
they living?
we live by Nashville. So
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
outside.
Nashville's great.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
live about 20 minutes from me. And, we do help them when we can because they're very independent. But he's the 911 operator and she's getting her PhD. So
Oh,
she's a
man.
student and working. So, and I don't know
Yeah.
how these kids do it. I
No,
really
yeah.
don't.
My daughter's in Austin and we financed her
Austin, I
condo.
love Austin.
I love us.
I did my son's wedding there
Oh
because
yeah.
he went to
Oh.
UT. He went to UT.
Oh, she just moved there not quite 2 years ago, but she bought a condo and she was going to do it on her own. And then, all the rates went up and
Austin's gotten incredibly expensive and
expensive, but we
so much
financed it.
traffic.
So she's
But
paying us, but
I was going in
we
like
financed it.
2007 to 2010,
Yeah.
and it was, not that bad. Now I've gone back because we, go back. We love Austin, and it's impossible. Like we went to South by
Ridiculous.
Southwest with this film,
Oh
the
yeah.
Chantilly Bridge.
Oh yeah.
And I hadn't been in
daughter was
Austin
there.
in years since Henry's wedding. And I could not believe I couldn't get anywhere. It
Yeah.
was
It's crazy.
unbelievable.
Can't get anywhere, can't park anywhere. I mean,
It was,
it's crazy.
and
But
still
she
the best
does
restaurants anywhere.
yeah, she
I swear, the
loves
restaurants
it.
in Austin.
Haven't
Did you go to Ushi?
I've been to Ushi. Yes,
Oh,
yes, yes. She
my
had to make the
favorite Japanese.
reservation like weeks ahead. She knew I was coming, so she immediately made the reservation so we could go there. Yeah,
We had a
it's
rehearsal
great.
dinner there.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. She's as happy as can be there. So I mean,
She
I don't.
does
That
love
was
it. Yeah.
she does. She had a goal. That's where she wanted to live, and where she had lived before. She's like, I'm gonna go ahead and put a deposit on an apartment. I'll just work remotely, and if I find a job there, great. Well, she ended up getting a job there anyway.
Oh,
So
good.
so she loves it, but it is, it's my
It's
son
so
is in
hard.
California though. My son's in Los Angeles,
Oh, Los
and
Angeles, forget it.
I know.
Chantilly Bridge, we recommend everybody go see it. Well,
Oh,
actually,
please,
you could
please.
just literally
Oh,
sit
and
in
then
your living
review
room.
it. And then
And
review it on
review
Rotten
it, review
Tomatoes.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Bridget and I will do that when we get out
Yes,
here.
we will. Yes.
But
And yeah, and we want to be represented. And
yes,
that's
What do
where,
we have to watch? I mean, it's so
yeah,
stupid. The baby boomer generation is the biggest generation ever, except for our kids, and they're not giving us any product. And
yeah.
we watch TV. So
Yes. Yeah,
why?
we're the ones
We had
really
Grace and
watching.
Frankie, and we had what's the show with oh God, Martin Sheen, no, not Martin Sheen. Well, that was Grace and Frankie, but there
Yeah.
was one other show, and then now there's this movie 80 for Brady, which is
Mhm.
and they have a new movie too. I
Oh,
think Lily
yeah.
Tomlin and Jane Fonda.
yeah,
the
it's
book club and
it's
the
like
book club
part
too.
3, and you've got these fantastic actresses, and they give them stupid material.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, do you
It's
think that
sad.
they got? I mean, what would they do with the material we had? What we got to do in Chantilly Bridge, which was
Mhm.
both funny and also moving and not so kind of cliche.
Right.
Right. They're kind of giving it's I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like
Stereotyping
these
a little
women
bit.
Yes,
as
and we want to see
horny
our lives.
women or
We want to
something
see
like
what
that.
are the problems in our lives. We want to see the things we're dealing with and our challenges and our marriages, our not marriages, and having to deal with grief and lots of things. And
Right.
where are you seeing that?
Yeah. I mean, real
Sure.
women too. Like
Yeah,
it seems like the women in those movies, they're all wealthy. They all can travel here. What about the woman that she's having trouble paying her bills and, her kids are having to help her out, or we're trying to look at this situation. She can't live on her own anymore. Something like that.
I just started watching a show called Somebody Somewhere. Is that what it's
Oh,
called?
Bridget Everett. Yes. I
Yes.
love that.
It's
Yes.
Love
good.
that show. I love
Yes.
that show. I didn't
Mhm.
know about it, and I read about it somewhere. I went, somebody said you should be watching this, and oh man, I'm such a big fan.
Didn't
Yes.
season 2 just come out?
I think so. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah,
I
and I'm
love it.
catching up because
Mhm.
I think I just finished the first year.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the second year. I love that show. It's hard for us to find things that, and that's another relationship between sisters that's
Mhm.
very interesting and very real,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And
Mhm.
very relatable.
and
Right.
they're moving to me too. I mean, I just saw this episode the other, like last night, I think, where now the sisters are kind of bonding, and because the whole beginning, they're
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so gosh, it's
It's
great.
good because it's very a true representation. I feel like I think I saw it in People magazine this week about
Oh,
her
really?
show.
I hope
Yes.
it. I'm going to vote for her for an Emmy. She's going to be on my list.
Yeah.
Because
She's great.
of course, I'm at the Academy. I get to vote. So,
Yeah.
and of
She's
course,
very
she's
it's
not gonna
very
do it.
relatable. It's really nice to see
Yes.
like human stories. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been an absolute treat, a
Yes.
pleasure, and we hope that everyone starts to hear about Chantilly Bridge and they go out and
Oh,
see.
really? I
Just
so
go right
hope
on
so.
Amazon Prime, which Bridget and I did
I
and
did.
watched it.
Yes. Yes. And write a review. Go to Rotten Tomatoes. Let everybody know that we want to see women in our demographic out
Yes.
there. Yes, we want to hear it because that's who we relate to.
And please
If
come
the
back on
movie would just
anytime.
become really popular and become like a top 10 thing, they'd have to go, oh, maybe we should have reviewed it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't ignore us. I will not be
I
ignored.
I will not be ignored.
Ignored.
That was Glenn Close.
Big
that was
close.
Fatal Attraction, which they
Yes,
just did a
great
reboot
line.
of.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
I really enjoyed doing this and enjoyed talking to both of you. So thank you for
you.
asking me, and thank you for spreading the word on our dear little movie. We
Yes.
call it The Little Engine That Could.
That's
And
right. It'll
we're
keep
hoping
going.
it'll just
Keep
get
going.
past that lack of advertising.
Yes.
well, anything we can do to support, we're happy to do. And please come back anytime. We would love to
Oh,
talk to you
thank you.
again.
Thank you. Well, next time, of course, it's going to be a while before anybody works, I think now. But
Yeah.
hopefully I will work again sometime.
You will. You will. And
will.
you'll come on and promote whatever it is.
I
Yes.
would love to.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
much.
It was really
Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been an absolute treat, a
Yes.
pleasure, and we hope that everyone starts to hear about Chantilly Bridge and they go out and see.
really. I
Just
so
go right
hope
on
so.
Amazon Prime, which Bridget and I did
I
and
did.
watched it.
Yes. Yes. And write a review. Go to Rotten Tomatoes. Let everybody know that we want to see women in our demographic out
Yes.
there. Yes, we want to hear it because that's who we relate to.
And please
If
come
the
back on
movie would just
anytime.
become really popular and become like a top 10 thing, they'd have to go, oh, maybe we should have reviewed it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't ignore us. I will not be ignored.
I will not be ignored.
Ignored.
That was Glenn Close.
That
Big
was
close.
Fatal Attraction, which they
Yes,
just did a
great
reboot
line.
of.
Yes.
Well, I really enjoyed doing this and enjoyed talking to both of you. So thank you for
you.
asking me, and thank you for spreading the word on our dear little movie. We
Yes.
call it The Little Engine That Could.
That's
And
right. It'll
we're
keep
hoping
going.
it'll just
Keep
get
going.
past that lack of advertising.
Yes.
Well, anything we can do to support, we're happy to do. And please come back anytime. We would love to
Oh,
talk to you
thank you.
again.
Thank you. Well, next time, of course, it's going to be a while before anybody works, I think now. But
Yeah.
hopefully I will work again sometime.
You will. You will. And
will.
you'll come on and promote whatever it is.
I would love to.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
It was really